Hi, I'm going to show you how to download the daily attendance report and create the cosmetic changes that make it possible and easy for us to use it. So, the first thing that you're going to do is go to the website, burlingtonenglish.com, and you are going to log in. We're pulling the report for the online class, so we need to log into that class. So the username for the online class is ESOL Online, and the password is English. So once you log in, right at the top in the center is the Reports tab. So if you click on the Reports tab, then you're going to choose what type of report. The only one that is acceptable for this purpose, as far as the government is concerned, is the student session report. So don't look at the proxy report. We want the student session report. Then we're going to choose the dates that we want the report for. I'm going to run this for Thursday the 5th. So I'm going to put both dates the same as Thursday the 5th. And then I'm going to export. If you run, it will show up in a window right below there, but we don't really need to see it. We just, because we're going to use it and manipulate it a little bit. So now we've got it down here, so I'm going to open it up. Okay, so here is our report. The first thing that we're going to do with this is we're going to enable it for editing, and we're going to change the name just a little bit. Then we're going to make some other cosmetic changes so that the names don't all run together and so that it's easier to follow along. As you can see, it's a long report, and so the easier it is, or the more clear everything is, the easier it is to work with it afterwards. So enable the editing, and then I'm going to save as. So I've created a folder where I save things, Burlington English attendance reports. You won't have access to this because this is on my flash drive, but you can create a location, and then at the end I will show you how to upload it into the online Google Docs or Google Drive. So what I do here when I change the name, I just take the date that's here and put it at the beginning so that when you're looking at them, it's easy to see the date when you're scrolling through rather than having it disappear over into the edges. So this is March 5th, 20, and so there we go. Then we save it. And now it can be manipulated, and any of the changes that we make are kept in our folder. So there's a few things that I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going to look to see if any of these lines are doubled. Let me show you what I mean. If we bring this over, oh, it's not doing it now. Sometimes we have students whose names are long enough that it has created a double line for it because it's set automatically to wrap the text. So if that happens, you just highlight whatever lines are affected by that and click on Wrap Text, and then that takes away any of the worries about that. Next, I'm going to minimize these columns as much as I can to save space. I want this all narrowed as much as I can. The easiest way to do this is click on that little arrow in the upper left corner, and then choose a spot and double click, and it will bring everything in as narrow as it can. Okay, now from this point on, we are going to create a division, a separation between each of the students' names. So right click on the first name, or the name of the student, the first time the student's name is listed. So we've got the first student directly under here, and so and then we have the second one. We're going to right click and insert, and so now we have a blank filled in between. So click and insert, click and insert. I'm going to do this for a couple minutes to get them all. Sometimes students will have one entry, sometimes they will have quite a few entries. what this means. Since this is a daily report, it records each time the student logs in and out and how long they were online during that particular moment. Sometimes they log out due to inactivity. One of my students the other day was telling me that they sometimes will log on and then their baby cries, and so they have to get up and go take care of the baby, and then they come back and they have to log on again, and things like that. So that's why sometimes we see multiple entries, and sometimes they have no time. For example, we can look at Maylin right here, and you can see that on the first one she's got no time. On her second one, which was a little more than an hour later, she was on there for an hour and 20 minutes. So we have that, so you can see different cases like that. So we go through here and we just keep going. Now, for recording purposes, I'm not going to go all the way through this. I will finish this after the recording. But once we have divided everything like this, then we want to create a little bit darker space in between them as another visual separation for us. And so what I usually do is highlight the number, click the whole row. That part's not going to matter if this is dark at all. Once you print it, it's not affected by it. So put it there, then press Control on your keyboard and click on the other ones. And as long as you're holding Control, then you can get all of them. Then we're going to fill in the color with the second one down on the first column, the one on the left. It's dark enough that it shows the difference, but it's also light enough that it's not using up as much toner. Okay, once we have filled in all of these, let me get the rest of them here. Clicked on the wrong thing. Get the rest of these really quickly. Changed that line size, oh well. Just a note, if you are scrolling up or down, let go of the Control key, otherwise you're going to end up with it getting bigger and smaller. And then just press Control again before you click on anything. So we're going to color those in with the same color. Now I'm going to make a quick perusal and make sure I didn't skip anything. Okay, so right here, I should see in this space here, one number between spaces. Right here I skipped one, so I'm going to come in and I'm going to add a line, and then I'm going to highlight it. Okay, so now we've got one number between the marks. And I'm just going to quickly go down through and make sure I didn't skip any others. I'll get back to those ones in a few minutes. And now you can save it. I save it periodically through because sometimes doing all of this takes a while and I don't want to lose my work. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to format the page. So come up to Page Layout and we're going to switch the margins. I have a custom setting where it's 0.5 on the top and 0.25 on the bottom and both sides. And that gives us the most possible space on the page to put things in, but still having a clear top on it. We're going to change the layout or the orientation from portrait to landscape. And now you can see right here that if we were to print it just like this, I'll pull it up, we've got this tiny document that's all squished onto something and it is nearly impossible to read. So we want to change this. We don't need it on one page in height. We do want one page in width, but we don't need one page in height. So we can just change this to automatic. One thing that I like to do once it's here is I will just do a quick cursory look and see my last page. And I can see here that it's got plenty of things printed here. If there's like one line on the last page or something like that, then you can adjust it. So if there was one line here, I might adjust it to say, instead of undefined, I might say 2 pages or something like that, so that I can squish one line back in there. Okay, now I've got it saved, and I'm going to export it. So I'm going to close it here. I'm going to come to my Google Drive, go into the ESOL online folder, and then go into attendance sheets. Now I can either drag and drop files, or I can come up to New and Google Sheets, and nope, that's not what I wanted. Let's see, New File Upload. So then from my file upload, I can go to the place where I have my folders, and so we were just working on the 5th. So I can open that up, and there, now it's uploaded. So if I need to access it from here, I can just open it up, and there it is. So I've got all the information. So that is how you do all of that. The next video, or the next thing that is done with these, and I'm going to just pull back up the other one. Well, I'll open this one. When you look at it, you're going to see that it records the students' minutes, the total number of minutes that they worked through the day. And that's this number right here. If I was going to write, let me change that. If I'm going on to WebAdvisor to key these hours, then I have to convert the minutes from minutes to our quarter hour system. So for 2, it would be 0, because at 0, we don't count the time. This would be 1.25, this would be 2.5, 1.5, 1.25, 1.5, 1.5, 2.5. You get the idea. So this part right here is not necessary to do unless it helps you when keying them online. I'm simply doing it for illustration purposes right now, but when you print this report, don't let this print. We don't want this print, this last little bit that I put there, we don't want that on the printed version. So if you want to print up your copies and then put another one here, that's fine, or whichever other way that works. For me personally, I print it, then use my ruler and go down section by section and just key them in. So that is creating the daily report. That's all there is to it. Creating the weekly report works the exact same way. The only difference is instead of doing a single day, you do a week. So this time, instead of doing just the 5th, I'm doing March 2nd through March 9th, and then I'm going to export my folder exactly the same way. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, there you go. Thanks.